Yo, good morning, good morning, good morning. Freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building, y'all. And we're gonna get down with this live stream. We're gonna get into the shit. We're gonna get into the shit, y'all. We're gonna talk about it. Yes, we're gonna talk about Israel again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. It is August 20th, 2025. And yeah, Israel is gearing up to conquer the whole of the Gaza Strip. They're going to conquer the whole of the Gaza Strip under the auspices of eradicating Hamas. Okay, that is the reasoning. That is the reasoning. They want to take over the entire Gaza Strip. That's what they're saying. Okay, because that is the only way. The only way to get rid of Hamas is to capture the entire Gaza Strip. So what that means is they're going to be sending ground troops. Good morning, Queen Sister Cameron. Salute to you. Good morning. Much love to you. Great video you put out last night. Great premiere. Man, you be on point. Love your content. But yeah, Israel is planning to take over the entire Gaza Strip. And they're going to do so using our money. Just so you guys understand that. They're going to use our money. They're going to use our military equipment to continue to basically eradicate the Palestinian nation. That's what they're doing, okay? Just let's not, hey, I'm going to give it to you straight, no chaser. You feel me? So, in this morning paper, we're going to talk about how they're activating 60,000 IDF reservists. 60,000. Now, they're going to need hundreds of thousands of troops to complete this mission. And they basically, what they're going to do is, they're going to steamroll. They're going to steamroll Gaza. They're going to steamroll through Hamas. They're going to steamroll through the people of Palestine. Anarchy, salute to you. Good morning. Good morning to my fellow anarchists. Anarchy. They're going to steamroll right through Gaza. Okay? And it's basically going to be a clean sweep of the entire nation of Palestine. And they're going to displace hundreds of thousands of people. I think it's about 700,000 Palestinians that they are going to displace. Now, they are giving the Palestinian people an opportunity to evacuate to the south. So they're going to push them down to the very southern tip of the Gaza Strip. Okay? And they're going to create refugees, a refugee situation, out of the entire nation of Palestine. Anarchy drops $5 on your boy. Salute to you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that. All right, these people are just tailgating like a motherfucker, man. I hate that. Anyway, so this is, y'all, I mean, listen, man. Yes, did Hamas come into Israel and supposedly kill 1,200 people on October 7th and beyond? Well, that's the going thinking, right? That's what they say happened. But we also know they had information that gave them the heads up. Basically, they knew that the invasion was going to happen, all right, if they did not provoke it, right? I told you guys about how certain nations, Queen Sister Cameron drops $10 on your boy, drops a 10 spot. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Queen Sister Cameron. You guys are showing me some love today. I appreciate that. I hope what I bring to you, this information is helpful. I know I don't, sit behind a computer often enough to show receipts, but I always encourage people to fact check. I always encourage it. Okay. Now, did Hamas come into Israel and do those things? Kill 1,200 people, take hostages? Yes. But did Israel know it was going to happen? They had some intelligence that would lead them to believe it would happen, right? And the bottom line is the intelligence apparatus of the IDF is far superior to many other nations around the world, okay? And then you have to consider the Five Eyes nations. They're part of the Five Eyes, and these people have assets all over the world that give them information, that they infiltrate these terrorist groups, they infiltrate the rebel groups, they infiltrate all these different groups that they feel are opposing them or oppose them, and they spark shit. You get what I'm saying? Just like the intelligence apparatus of the United States did with Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, with those group of guys where basically just two of them, there was a whole group of like 10, 20 people. Only two of them faced prosecution because they were completely set up by the Phoebes. You get what I'm saying? Brother Shelton, salute to you this morning. Man, your memes be ridiculous, bro. Your KQKC meme, that shit was wild, bro. Where you be coming up with this shit, man? Like, how do you come up with this shit? Man, that shit was hilarious. Anyway, on the ones and twos and shit, you know what I'm saying? Was he a DJ? Anyway, let me move on. So, this is what we have going on. Problem, reaction, solution. The Hegelian dialectic. If you guys are familiar with the Hegelian dialectic, or not familiar with the Hegelian dialectic, I encourage you to look it up and understand that these countries, these nations, like the United States, like Israel, they use the Hegelian dialectic to achieve agendas that they put forth. Problem, reaction, solution. And in this case, what was the problem? The problem was that Hamas committed the October 7th attacks, right? And killed 1,200 people. That was the problem. Israel used this problem to get a reaction from the people. What was the reaction? You have to do something. You have to defend yourself, right? From all over the world, you have to defend yourself. You have to, you have to free the hostages. You got to do this, you got to do that. That's the reaction. And then usually the reaction that they want to cultivate is a fear-based reaction, because when people are in fear, they act irrationally, especially when they let that fear rule over them, when they let that fear lead their actions, right? If you lead with fear, then it creates problems for you. You act irrationally and all that good stuff. So you get people on your side with their fear-based reaction because you have to do something. And the solution is what? In this case, it's a pre-planned solution. And that solution is to eradicate Hamas. Well, how do you eradicate Hamas? Hamas is not a typical government, right? They consider it, okay, yeah, go ahead. Don't use your fucking blinker and just slide right on over. These people are crazy. See, y'all be concerned about me driving and doing a lot, but I'm a very defensive driver. This guy right here, this guy in front of me, did some silly, stupid ass shit, dipping in and out of traffic without using his blinkers. Anyway, you got to pay attention. Nonetheless, the solution is to eradicate Hamas. But what did they tell you from the beginning about Hamas? That Hamas uses civilians as human shields. So in order to eradicate Hamas, you have to go through some civilians, right? You got to go through civilians. You have to destroy infrastructure. You have to stop the supply chain from getting into Palestine and the Gaza Strip. Now, this is something that could have been foreseen because they cut off power, right? The power that was going to the Gaza Strip was being supplied through Israel. If you guys are not familiar with that, Israel cut off this power supply. They cut off the food chain. They cut off the supply chain. And now what we have is thousands of starving Palestinians. So, and what else did they do? They weakened the infrastructure. They weakened the infrastructure. They knocked down all these buildings. They destroyed hospitals. They destroyed shelters. They destroyed, I mean, they completely just, they might as well just level the Gaza Strip and rebuild it, which is what they're going to do. The solution is to eradicate Hamas, but you can't do it conventionally, right? No, you cannot. You have to kill civilians. You got to destroy you got to make them starve. You got to starve everyone out of Palestine. It took them 2 years almost to achieve their goal. To achieve the goal is to make Israel, you know, Jerusalem and all this shit, right? Israel is going to be, they need, in their minds, the Gaza Strip belongs to them, right? The Golan Heights belong to them. That's why they took that. Well, they don't just believe that the land that Israel and Palestine exist on, they don't think that that just belongs to them. No, they think the entire Middle East belongs to them. This will not stop. Let me tell you why it won't stop. This, and look, it started hundreds of years ago, and it's been going on ever since. Now they're in the position to push all the way through because they have what? They have the backing of the United States. They got the money from the United States. They got funding from the United States. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year. The Iron Dome. The military weaponry. The free health care. All this bullshit. We pay for that. Now, they have the ability to push for what they want. And they're doing it on October 7th. They're going to use the anniversary of the attack from Hamas to basically create a larger nation of Israel. That is what this is about. This is about expanding the Israeli empire. And make no mistake that the Golan Heights, the 75% of the Gaza Strip they already took over, and the remaining 25% they're going to take over starting on October 7th is not the only goal. And I'm going to tell you why again. I'm going to tell you. I was going to tell you, now I'm going to tell you. It's because there are nations surrounding Israel and Israel and Palestine that are going to basically, they're going to not like this, right? They're going to have the knowledge. See, they have the foresight of knowing that Israel's not going to stop with Palestine. So they're going to resist. They're going to rebel. They're going to go against them, right? And Israel can't have that. They can't have these other nations, Syria and all these, Egypt and Libya and all these other nations, Iraq, you know, nations that are going to be thinking, well, shit, what's going to stop them for coming into our country? Nothing but us. So they're going to put up a fight to a degree, right? They already have, basically, right, with the Houthi rebels and, you know, out of Lebanon and or Syria, whatever the fuck. All these nations that they say Iran was supplying weaponry and equipment and money to put up this proxy war, to attack by proxy. That's why they attacked Iran. They told you Iran was supplying drones and equipment and this and that to the Houthi rebels and all these different individuals. And that's why they attacked them. But that attack was not a full-on attack, as you guys know. It was a test. They destroyed They killed some according to them, they killed some military leaders. They destroyed some crucial military bases. That was a test to see if they can get away with it. And they did. As a matter of fact, not only did they get away with it, but the United States helped by attacking Iran as well. And then we get mad when Israel, when they agreed to the ceasefire, launched one more attack. Oh, we'll launch a series of attacks right after we agreed to the ceasefire. I mean, that's what Israel did. And Trump is fuming and bitching and complaining, but my guy, you dropped 12 bunker busters on these motherfuckers, on these people. But you screaming and hooping and hollering at Israel for not immediately ceasing fire? Listen, Israel has been, listen, they understand what they can get away with now. Now, yeah, people are telling Israel, oh, don't do it, you shouldn't do that. Israel don't give a hot fuck what y'all saying. Let's just be honest about that. Sunshine's in the building. Stray Godzilla's in the building. Sunshine's out there sniping people as usual on the job. My number one gunner, Sunshine, the beautiful Queen Sunshine, always out there knocking. Sorry about that. Can you drop a Romeo Lima Charlie in the chat if you guys can hear me? Please. Now, Romeo Lima Charlie. Anarchy, I'm back. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, what we have to understand about all this is that, thank you Sunshine, thank you Anarchy, and thank you Stray Godzilla, as well as Techno Viking. Salute to you. We have to understand that they're doing all this on our dime. They're starving people to death. They're displacing human beings they're removing people from their homes. And they're displacing these individuals. They're going to take over the entire Middle East. Make no bones about it. The test that they launched against Iran was just that. It was a test. So when they push forward, Iran is going to have a problem. Libya is going to have a problem. Syria is going to have a problem. Lebanon, Egypt. Do you know what happens when we go over and we call ourselves spreading democracy? Remember we did that after the 9/11 attacks? First it was about, oh, well, look, Iraq is harboring Osama bin Laden. Oh, first it was that. But when we found out that was bullshit, they changed it to weapons of mass destruction. Well, when we found out that was bullshit, they changed it to spreading democracy. What happened when we spread democracy in the Middle East? Well, we destabilized Iraq, right? We destabilized Afghanistan. And look at what happened when we launched this mission against Libya and its ruler, Muammar Gaddafi. This is very important. Libya is completely destabilized. You know why? Well, I'll tell you. Libya is destabilized because Muammar Gaddafi was slaughtered by his own people at the provocation of the United States. Thanks to Hillary Clinton. Thanks to Obama. Did I like Gaddafi? I don't know Gaddafi to say whether or not I like Gaddafi. What I do know is that he was trying to create an African union where they would all trade in gold amongst each other. So they would use an actual gold dinar to strengthen Africa's economy as a whole. He wanted to form an African union. See, Muammar Gaddafi understood what it was. He understood that Libya is indeed part of Africa. He understood that Egypt is indeed part of Africa, and he wanted to form a union. Why? Because he was tired of the European graping and graping the resources and snatching the resources from his people. So he wanted to form a strong African Union where they would all deal in gold dinar, which would then out the United States government's petrodollar, right? And all that good shit. He wanted to do that. Well, they had a problem with that. So, I mean, they attempted to get rid of Muammar Gaddafi in the 80s, right? Remember when Reagan tried to kill him and killed his daughter and killed, I mean, these people are fucking ruthless. You understand? Muammar Gaddafi's been a problem for these people. Well, they finally convinced certain rebel groups within Libya to kill Muammar Gaddafi on the streets like a fucking dog. And now what do they have in Libya? Chattel slavery. They have chattel slavery of Nigerian people, right? They get people from that. They have slaves, actual slaves in Libya. And when they want to set examples, what do? They line the men in the night, these African men up, and they shoot them in the head in front of everybody. They set them on fire. I've seen videos. We're not talking about the 1800s. We're talking about the 2010s. After Muammar Gaddafi was killed, Libya took up slavery. So how bad could Muammar have been if he was able to stop his country from engaging in slavery? There's slavery in Libya right now. Y'all can go look at it. I don't know if it's still occurring, but I do know that, yeah, soon after Muammar Gaddafi was killed, they started taking up slaves. Y'all go fact check it. Israel has no interest in ensuring that the people, in these Arab nations, he has no interest in keeping the peace with them. He has no interest in ensuring that they have somewhere to call home. You move out, you leave, or we will kill you. We will kill your women, we will kill your children. We will kill every non-combatant we can to achieve our goals, because we don't give a hot damn about it Muslim. They don't. Stray Godzilla says he can't call what's going on in Palestine a war. It's not a war. It's not a war. It is a complete slaughter. Okay? Where no Geneva Convention is being honored or respected or exercised. But now they're saying, oh, well, when we roll through the rest of Gaza, we'll increase the aid to the people. But they got to wait until October 7th? They got to wait until October 7th until you release the chokehold on the funneling of aid. You're not going to stop constricting the flow of aid to Gaza until October 7th. Why should we believe that? What would be the incentive for Israel to allow any aid to go into Gaza and get to the people. What's the incentive? They have called up 60,000 reservists. Where are these people at? Where are these reservists? Are they all in Israel? Or are they all over the world? So now, you got to go back to Israel, or if you're in Israel already and you're in the reserves, you got to go help Benjamin Nosferatu and the defense minister and all these people. This defense is no longer the defense minister. He is the offense minister. He is the offense minister. Sunshine says, Eric, oh, you talking to somebody else. Yeah, it's a test, Stray Godzilla. I mean, it's not going to take much for them to take over the Gaza Strip. They've been wanting to do it for decades. Now they just have a reason. They have a reason to throw in your face, oh, October 7th, October 7th, October 7th, October 7th. Where 1,200 people died. Nearly half the people that died during 9/11. So, of course, they're going to throw that in your face. Because Israel don't give a shit about nothing. About what they got going on. Let's just be real about that and honest. And when they are facing down these people of Palestine, these IDF troops that are following these orders, they are just as culpable as Benjamin Nosferatu. They can say no. They can resist. They can stop. But they choose not to. What does the IDF soldier gain by Israel taking over the entire Gaza Strip? What do they gain from it? Right? Just like when I was in the military. I did not have to go over to Iraq and murder in the name of the United States government. So for that, I am blessed. I did not have to do that. But when the soldiers that did go, right? What did they gain from Iraq being invaded? What did they gain from Iraq being? What did they gain by invading Afghanistan? What did they gain from it? Did they get any percentage of the profits? Did they protect their homeland when they did that? What did they gain? Like what part of their swearing in did they fulfill? The things they swore in to do. Defend the Constitution, protect the nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Did they fulfill any of that? What threat was Iraq to the United States that they had to defend against? Nothing. There is nothing that these soldiers gain. They're soldiers of fortune. They are soldiers of fortune, except they get no fortune. They get no fortune. When I was a specialist and then a corporal, what was I making? $3,000 a month? That ain't nobody's fortune. That was back in 2004, 2005. $3,000, almost $4,000 a month. And then the guys that went over there after I got out, right? Because when they started to invade Iraq, I was already getting on my way out. My ETS was within the window. My ETS was within that 90-day window, and I skedaddled because it did not sit right with me what was getting ready to happen. And I said, you know what? I ain't doing it. I know you must join the military in Israel. I know. I know you got to serve like 2 years. It's the same thing in Korea. Same thing in South Korea. You got to do at least 2 years as a man to in Korea. You got to serve 2 years. The bottom line is this: we are soldiers of fortune for these governments, for these bankers, because all these wars are banker wars at this point. Even the war that Israel's fighting against Palestine. right? It's not just about Holy Land. It's not just about Holy Land. They just use that as for reasoning. They use that to shut people up. No, it's not. It's not a holy war. There's nothing holy about what they're doing to the Palestinian people. The people that had nothing to do with October 7th. Nothing to do with it. And every 2 seconds, we talk about, oh, look, they got a ceasefire they're talking about. I mean, just, even now, they're asking Benjamin Nosferatu about a ceasefire that they're talking about. And he's not giving any straight answers. He's like, oh, well, you know, probably, maybe, look at me, ha ha, he he. Like, nigga, motherfucker, is you fucking asshat. Get off your fucking phone, douchebag. See, now, these are the people that are a problem on the road, that have their phones in their fucking face like this, doing all that. Anyway, so, soldiers of fortune, man. All, like another word for soldier of fortune, mercenary. Ugh, really? Fucking Christ, man. Fucking douchebag. Soldier of fortune. And that's what these IDF soldiers are. Soldiers of fortune that aren't going to get any fortune. But what they're going to get are scars. They're going to get trauma for what they have to do. PTSD. That's their fortune. And that's the bottom line. So just understand that what Israel is doing right now is on our dime. So not only, the only people that are gaining from this is the elite class of Israel. The Benjamin Nosferatus, the defense ministers, even people in the United States, the defense contractors. The defense contractors, the private defense contractors that have to provide the weapons, that provide the missiles and all these things, that build it, that have contracts with the government, lucrative contracts that they pay for with our money. Our money, loans from other countries that we have to pay for in the future, that add to the debt. This is how our nation stays afloat. That's how they stay in power. That's how our government stays in power over us. They take our money, they put us in debt, they cripple us, they weaken us. And they convince you that we need them to get out of this debt that they created. They created this debt and this deficit that we have. All this GDP bullshit that they talk about. Oh, the GDP. Oh, the GDP this, the GDP that. Highly volatile. The gross domestic product? What product? It's all a farce, y'all. Because the government doesn't produce anything. They extract. We produce. Private contractors produce. The government is the middleman, creating inflation. Why? Because we're not on the gold standard. Because we're using fiat currency. And they take our fiat currency and they send it to Israel. They take our fiat currency and they build weapons and equipment and give it to Israel. That's just more debt that we have to use our time and laboring energies to pay for by producing for this country. The greatest producer of this country is an individual. The individual that's not part of the elite class. The elite class does not produce anything. They use people to produce. These huge corporations, this is what happens. All this technology that they have for the Iron Dome, that they have to extract from the ground, the mining, for all the cobalt and all these different things, for the semiconductors, for the tracking systems. The people produce that. The people that are in the mines extracting this shit, the people, yeah. But we need them. No, they need us. They need us to commit their tyranny. They need us to conquer. They need us to build their empires. They build it off the backs of the people. And that's no different than Israel. Israel is no different. Israel is not exempt. The Israeli government is not only extracting from their own people, they're extracting from us as well. Hell, the Israeli government might as well be our government. Those people that they are starving out, they have to use our money to find ways to do that. We don't want to hear it, but we're culpable. We are party to this corruption. HOM, salute to you. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate all you guys. You're on God's side, as you should be. God would not appreciate this. Understand that. God would not appreciate what Israel is doing in Palestine. Period, point blank. Yes, hit the like button, y'all. We got 106 people in here. Or 119. Let's hit the like button. Let's get the likes up to like 70. I'm trying to be realistic. Maybe even 50. If we can get the likes up to 50, that would be appreciated. If anything I'm saying makes sense to y'all, y'all should be in the like button. All you got to do is double tap the screen. You ain't even got to back out. Just double tap the screen and make it pop. Because the message I'm sending is very important. And it's a reality. This is why people that operate and move within the left-right paradigm, they don't like me when I talk like this. Because they have nothing for me. And when I tell them I'm an anarchist, and I say fuck the left and the right, they don't, all they say is, oh, anarchy is not realistic. Oh, that's a pipe dream. Oh, that ain't real. Oh, you can't do that. That's utopia. Well, when I explain that you operate in anarchy every day, when you decide when you wake up, when you decide when to brush your teeth, when you decide what you're going to eat for breakfast, when you decide when you're going to take a piss and a shit, no one's telling you to do that. You're doing that on your own accord. That is called anarchy. No rulers. No authority. You don't have authority figures telling you when to take a piss and brush your teeth. Now, do we exist in a world where there are authorities that dictate certain things that go on in our life? Yes. However, there are moments of anarchy that you live in every single day. Imagine if that were 24/7. 24/7, you get to live your life as you choose, within the parameters that nature place upon you. Nature. Government is not natural. It is against nature. You guys are you guys familiar with entropy? If you guys are familiar with entropy, you know that you hear the term chaos out of order. Every time you try to create some sort of order, chaos will always come forth, right? Chaos out of order. That is the reality. Government tries to create order, but chaos will always ensue because there has to be balance. There is a yin and a yang. There is a reaction. There's an action and an equal opposite reaction. Same thing with chaos, right? You can't just have pure chaos. There will always be order within chaos, right? The determining factors, when you try to force order out of chaos, then you just create more chaos, because that chaos is going to resist every time you try to do that, right? That's why when you build these roads, you build these houses, you build these things, and you think you're trying to build it to the best of your ability to resist the force of nature. But guess what? Nature will always show you that you cannot. You cannot completely resist nature. So what happens? You get sinkholes. You get mudslides. You get hurricanes that knock your buildings down and knock down your power poles, and now you done lost power. And guess what? You got to go put them damn poles back up. You got to fill those sinkholes, and you got to rebuild that house. You might put shutters on your house. Okay, close the shutters. Okay, well, your roof gonna get tore off. Nature will always show you that chaos will come through and remind you. Government can't protect you from that. So the best thing to do is try to build within nature, build within the flow of nature, create order so that the chaos does not overwhelm you. What is this? Anarchy sent the gift. Salute to you, Anarchy. I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Always supporting you, boy. I appreciate the gift. Thank you. Anarchy been down for a minute. Damn. Yes. Like, say, if you build a house, right? You built the house, but you try to have it mold and shape from nature, then you're going to be better off, right? Because if you understand the land, if you understand where you're at, you understand how the world works, you know every inch of your land, right? And you try to disturb it in the least way possible, and you build based on that, you will be better off. Nature will protect you from its own chaos to the best of its ability. You know what I'm saying? Like, say you build a log cabin using the wood from your surrounding land, right? Things like that. If you try to go against nature and you want to remove as much nature as possible to make your life more comfortable, that is not a good thing. Everywhere I'm looking now in the Southeast, when I first got here 3 years ago, there were trees everywhere. Now there's still trees everywhere. There's still a shitload of trees. But every time I turn around, they tearing down more trees to build more shit. And what that does, well, now you're displacing all these animals. You're disrupting the biodiversity and ecology. But you also have to build in a certain way, but they're not building like they used to, right? They're building shitty structures. And it burns my hide every time I see it. This is the way with government. In order for government to achieve what it wants to achieve, which is full and complete control, they have to go against nature. Back in before industrialization, right, when the central government took over in the United States, and they had to use messenger. They had to use the Pony Express to relay orders back and forth and keep the government, ruling. It was very difficult. There were still whole towns. There were still whole goddamn states that were wild. That you didn't have, the government did not reach you. And if they couldn't reach you, how could they control you? They called themselves controlling the entire nation. But there were new frontiers that they did not know about. Well, they had to reach these new frontiers to take over. They had to reach these new frontiers. Imagine if the people stopped them before they could do that. Imagine you live pre-industrialization in the 17 and 1800s, right? Before the telegram and all this silly shit. Before the, what they call that? When you click the Morse code and all that. Before they could send messages across the country in less time than it took for a pony to get there. Before the Pony Express guy. Imagine if people decided, we're gonna go over here and mind our own business. And if we see these government motherfuckers come through, let's ignore their silly little badges. Let's ignore their silly little uniforms. Let's take our weapons and defend this new frontier from government takeover and government tyranny. Imagine if people were just like, why should I listen to this guy? I mean, this one guy that showed up, or maybe a few guys and or maybe this one general or lieutenant came with a few troops and said, we're the government. Huh, we're gonna tax you now. We're gonna take your money. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Imagine if we told them to fuck off. Imagine that. Well, guess who tried to do that? Not for the right reason, but guess who tried to do that? And that's what started the Civil War. South Carolina and other states. The first state to try to secede from the Union was South Carolina. But it was too late, and not for the right reasons. No, the federal government, Lincoln and them was like, man, we can't be cut off from this goddamn cotton, goddamn it. We can't be having that. Not only that, we having too many revolts that's disrupting our economy. We got this cotton gin now. Understand that Lincoln did not want to have this war to free the slaves. No, he did not want the southern states to secede from the Union because they had all the cotton, and cotton was a hot commodity all over the world. And it was all the slave revolts and all the slave rebellions were disrupting that. And they invented, the cotton gin was invented, which would then lessen the need for the slaves. So, but guess what? The southern states, they didn't want to get rid of slaves. They wanted to have both. Well, guess what happened? This is why the Civil War started. It had to do with not losing that hot commodity. It was about the southern states wanting to maintain their golden goose, which was cotton. I know I didn't veer it off into a whole different thing, but it all relates. Well, the new frontier for Israel is the entire Middle East. Because it's only a new frontier to them. Just like back in the day, when the European settlers came over here, it was a new frontier to them. But there were people that were already there, minding their own goddamn business. It wasn't a new frontier in reality. No. The United States, all the land here, well, there were people that were... Anyway, y'all, no one discovered America. There were people already here. And guess what? There are already people in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip, that were there before Israel. But you think Israel gives a fuck? No, it's a new frontier to them because it's just more land to conquer. Okay, yeah, swing still. Okay, we're really, we're not gonna, we're not gonna. That's dangerous. They swinging steel over here, but they don't have enough red tape up, man. Y'all got life fucked up. This is not a good thing, man. You do not want to be swinging that steel. I'm here at the construction site, and they swinging steel all over the job site, but they're not. It's bad for business. Yes, history repeats itself. So guess what? All these people in these Islamic nations, they ain't nothing but the engines. They're the engines. And so what happens when the engine sees what you're trying to do? When they were trying to conquer the new frontier, and they see what you're trying to do, they ain't stupid. They attack before they get attacked, right? Or they might have had an attack. The settlers might have been doing something, and the Indians were like, "No, we got to nip this in the bud." So guess what? They went in and did what they had to do, and that was the October 7th of the indigenous folks of the United States. Yeah. Their October 7th was to try to stop these settlers from doing the horrible shit that they were going to do, that they knew they were going to do based on history. Pardon me, I'm eating some carnivore snacks. Man, this shit's good. These are the crumbs, fat and crumbs. Carnivore snacks are pretty good, y'all. Y'all check that out. I need to do major research. Okay. Tell me where to start. Tell me where to start. I'll do some research. Got no problem with it. I encourage people to fact check. Help me out. Ides of March, Unia. Help me understand. What research do I need to do? Help me understand. I'll do it. No problem. Anyway, y'all. Tell me where I'm wrong. Prove that Israel's not going to activate 60,000 troops that are reservists to march into Gaza on October 7th. Tell me where I'm wrong when I say that they are giving the Palestinian people within Gaza until October 7th to evacuate. What was it? Tell me where I'm wrong at. Tell me where I'm wrong. Am I wrong about Israel having knowledge of the October 7th attack? Tell me where I'm wrong. Fact check it. Just like our government knew about the 911 attacks before they happened. Tell me where I'm wrong. Just a Hyro asks if this is a political channel. This is a channel where I push the message of freedom and truth on any subject that I feel is important. That's what this channel is for. I also talk about boxing a little bit too. Dennis the Menace. I was just about to say that. They knew about Pearl Harbor. Except back then, they didn't have the technology necessarily to. They knew about Pearl Harbor. They knew it was going to happen. They needed it to happen because they needed to get dragged into the Second World War. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where to start my research. Tell me how I'm wrong about how the settlers, right, from merry old England and from merry old Europe came over here and there were already people here. Tell me where there were. Am I wrong about the indigenous peoples of this land being here before the European? Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong when I say the new frontier was only a new frontier to the colonialists and the settlers. And that when they found these new frontiers and they wanted that, they decided to kill a bunch of indigenous folks, enslave a bunch of people. And then when they were attacked, they felt like they needed to defend themselves by continuing to murder and rape and displace and eradicate whole tribes of people. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where to do the research at. Oh yeah, HOM Games. As a Palestinian, you're not wrong. Even Egypt knew. They told them 3 days prior. They knew. But I'm telling y'all, go do your fact checking. Don't take my word for it. I'm just telling you, I'm connecting dots, and I'm trying to help y'all understand where this is headed. Because I told y'all that they were going to attack Iran 1 year before they did. Because I saw the writing on the wall. I saw the agenda. I saw the patterns, right? Because they've been talking shit about Iran for decades, right? They've been trying to convince us that they if they got nuclear capability, they're going to destroy the whole world. They've been talking that shit. Keenan says no one cares, but he's in here writing in the chat. Sounds good. Holy Ghost, World War III has already started. It started back in 9/11. It started back then. It's just been kind of cool. It's a warm war. We have been in a warm war, World War III, for a few decades now. So everything is going to come to a head at some point. Just don't know exactly when. But I got to get out of here, guys. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button. I didn't get my 50 likes like I asked for, but it's all good. Do what you can, but it's free. Hitting the like button is free. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the channel. Thank you to everyone for liking. Thank you to everyone for writing in the chat and leaving comments. And whether they agree with me or not, thank you for voicing your opinion. And I appreciate all that. I appreciate it. Thank you, K Jones. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Thank you, HOM. Thank you to Sunshine. Thank you to 22 Ronin, Queen Sister Cameron, who contributed, Anarchy, who contributed as well, is one of the first ones here. I really do appreciate you guys. Make sure that you keep your head on the swivel. And look, man, stay armed up, stay prayed up. Keep you some freedom seeds. You understand what I'm talking about? And as always, let's keep marching forward